once you start identifying what an A player looks like for your team and you start to develop that avatar, your job is to build a company culture that is so attractive to those A players. They can't resist it. Like they're just chomping at the bit, eager to work in your company when there's an opportunity. And that's really the key to having a business that can grow and scale without your daily involvement.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question. What has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. Entrepreneurs, are you ready to take your life back from your business? I've got great news for you. The 4-Week Vacation book is now available on Amazon. Finally! I'm so excited to share this book with you. Go to 4weekvacation.com, get a copy of your book, and check out all the bonuses.
The key to taking your life back from your business is to have a team of A players. And one of the greatest challenges that I hear so often from entrepreneurs is the struggle to hire A players, the people that you can really trust with your business, the people that you can trust when you're away from the business. A players are resourceful, they're motivated, they're go-getters, and they believe in your vision. They want to do well. They're intrinsically motivated. They don't need bonuses and other carrots dangled in front of them to perform well. They just naturally want to perform well. And I want to share with you the 3 simple steps to attracting A players to your team so that you can start working on these now and move your business in the direction of not relying on you for every single action and decision. With the publication of the 4-Week Vacation, I'm so excited to show you the Tap the Potential solution in its entirety, and attracting A players and continually networking to attract A players is a big component of the Tap the Potential solution. So let's dive into this. In last week's episode, in episode 161, I shared with you what it really takes to attract A players to your team. And I talked about the psychology of A players. The psychology of A players is very different from B, C, D, or F players. And it's critical that you understand the psychology of A players as you work to attract them to your team. The reason traditional hiring practices set us up to mishire 75% of the time is they're out of alignment with A player behavior. So if you haven't listened to episode 161, go back and listen to that episode before you listen to this episode with the 3 simple steps to attracting A players to your team. So step 1 for attracting A players to your team is starting with the end in mind. This means having a clear picture of your business that you are building, knowing your clear, compelling vision and where you're headed, having clarity on the sweet spot of your business, and understanding what drives profitability in your business. This is critical because I see so many business owners making the mistake of getting very busy themselves and their other team members getting really busy and then deciding, wow, we're all really busy, so we must need to hire more help. Let's go hire some people. And when you make that decision, number one, there's a good chance, if you don't have a clearly defined sweet spot in your business, there's a good chance you're hiring for a role that's for a person that's going to be taking care of more difficult customers and clients that are not in line with the primary service that you're offering or the best use of your team's time. And payroll is typically the biggest expense in a business. So if you're not thoughtful about your vision and your sweet spot of your business as you make the decision to hire, you can quickly grow with too many people on your team and lose profitability. And the Tap the Potential solution is all about helping you design a sustainably profitable business that can grow profitably over time. So starting with the end in mind before you hire. So know your vision, know your sweet spot. And a question that I frequently get asked is, Dr. Sabrina, how do I know how many people I should hire and when I should hire them? So one of the things that you might think about is if the sweet spot of your business is going to grow by 3x, 5x, 10x, whatever your number is that you want to grow that sweet spot of your business, get that clear in your mind and then create a role chart for serving the sweet spot of your business at that level. And that will show you where your existing team is falling short in relation to the sweet spot. It will also help keep you from hiring for unnecessary roles that are not serving your top clients and customers that drive the profitability of your business. So now that you have clarity or more clarity on the role that you're going to hire for and the roles that are needed to serve the sweet spot of your business as you grow, step 2 for attracting A players to your team is to define what an A player looks like in that role. Remember, A players hang together. Your job is to define what an A player looks like for your team, where they hang out, and then get yourself in front of them as an employer of choice. You want to show up as having designed a business that is highly attractive to the A players you want on your team. So I'll talk more about that in a minute. But in order to do that, you really need to know who is that A player that you're trying to attract. If this sounds like basic marketing to you, it is. It's everything you know already about how to market your business to attract your ideal clients and customers. But now we're applying it to attracting A players. So you want to have your ideal team member avatar and think through what does an A player look like for your team. Once you have that in mind, then you can answer questions such as, well, where is this kind of person going to hang out? Where do they congregate? What networks are they in? And biggest question of all, what's important to them in a great place to work? So this is where I want to dig in with you a little bit. It's very tempting when you think about hiring to sit down and think about, well, what skill sets am I hiring for? We don't want to start with skill set. The most important quality to hire for across the board with A players is resourcefulness. So that is what you're looking for. You want to find out if the person in front of you that you're interviewing is resourceful. Beyond that, you want to find out if they are a good fit with your immutable laws. Your immutable laws are the number one filter to put in place in your screening and interview process. If someone's immutable laws are out of alignment with yours, you're going to likely have the experience that you hire them and you bring them in, and then you're going to be beating your head against the wall because if they've done something that has alienated another team member or ticked off a top client or customer. So understanding what your immutable laws are, clarifying them, and then using your immutable laws as the number one filter in your A player attraction system is key. So let's talk about immutable laws. Immutable laws are your core values. They're how you show up how you do life. And the challenge is that our core values are so much a part of who we are. They're like the fabric of who we are, and we don't see them until someone or something does something that makes us feel angry or ticked off. The other way that we can identify our core values is when we feel really proud. So what we want to do is identify your immutable laws through looking at what your core values are and turning those into immutable laws for your company. These are the seeds of your culture. And what you'll notice when I say over and over that A players hang together, people are attracted to other people because of commonality in values. Our values are the glue of our friendships and our primary important relationships. When we are feeling happy and harmonious in our important relationships, it's because there's alignment in core values. When we are upset or frustrated, usually it's because a core value has been violated. So here's 2 key questions to help you start to identify your immutable laws. What's ticked you off lately? And what's made you proud lately? Think through the last 2 weeks with those 2 questions in mind. And then when you think about what's ticked you off, think about what value was violated in that situation where you felt angry or frustrated. And at the same time, when you're thinking about where you felt proud, think about what value was being honored that makes you feel so proud. Look for those moments and start to brainstorm your immutable laws for the business. Your immutable laws for the business are the way you do business, and you want people on your team who hold similar core values as your immutable laws. And what's so beautiful about that is when you hire team members whose core values align with yours, you will be able to be away from the business and trust that if something comes up that is outside policies and procedures, the members on your team will make a decision about how to handle that you feel good about. They may not do it in the way you would do it. They may do it better. But nonetheless, you're going to feel really good about it because their values align with yours. So I'll give you an example from a client that I worked with several years ago. He came to his coaching meetings and he was continually frustrated with his team members who were always showing up at 8:05 or 8:10 or 8:15. And he said, Dr. Sabrina, I don't get it. I've had that talk with them over and over about the importance of showing up and being on time and ready to go. And I said, I'm really curious. Tell me what being on time means to you. And he said, well, it means showing up 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. And I said, okay, have you shared that with your team? And he said, no, I've told them that the start time is 8 o'clock. They need to be ready to go at 8 o'clock. And I said, okay, let's try something different. Just go back to your team, share with them that you have an immutable law in your company that showing up on time means being there 10 or 15 minutes early and being ready to go at the start time, being very specific in that way. And he did that. And he came back the following week and he said, you know what? I shared it. And the next day, everyone showed up at 8 o'clock. Even though they were straggling in at like 7:58, they were ready to go at 8 o'clock after I told them that. He said, I feel much better about that. And I said, okay, good. Let's test this for a few weeks and see if they continue to show this same behavior. And sure enough, over time, the majority of his team members respected that immutable law once they understood how important it was to him and what it really meant to him. So this is why we want to articulate these immutable laws. They really are so much a part of the fabric of who we are. We take them for granted and we don't see them. And we expect that the world operates in the same way that we do, but it doesn't. Not everyone's different. And so going forward, once you have your immutable laws clarified, you have a much better chance of attracting others to your team who hold similar values as you. And this is a part of what happens over time in your company when you're hiring around immutable laws, suddenly a lot of the stress and strain and drama on the team drops away. And it's because team members hold similar core values and they have a similar way of doing life and a similar way of doing work. And it doesn't mean that personalities are the same. It's that thread, though, of core values that helps bring harmony to the team. And these immutable laws are so critical and so valuable. They will become the seeds of the culture in your business. They will become what creates the personality of your business over time. And I want to give you a word of caution about this. This is very different than identifying your values for your company. That's often when teams sit down and say, well, what are our values going to be? Usually a list of values is generated and it's a list of aspirational values. So when you're defining your immutable laws, number one, your team can't define them for you. They start with you. Your team can help you clarify them because you can start to articulate what they are and then share them with your team. And your team will likely be able to give you examples of these immutable laws in action as you start to share them. They'll start to connect the dots and understand what you're looking for from them. And your immutable laws are part of what shapes how you want your team to show up and behave and interact and engage among the team members and with your best clients and customers. So just to give you an example, on the Tap the Potential team, one of our immutable laws is work supports life, not the other way around. If you've been listening to the podcast for some time or been following my work, you've heard that phrase over and over and over. And what that means is when I started the business over 16 years ago now, I made a dedicated, intentional decision that I was going to run the business on 25 hours a week so that I would have enough time to be present with my family and be a part of my children growing up and their activities after school, be able to drive them to school and pick them up, all those things that moms do. And as the team and the business grew, I made it really clear that I didn't just want this for myself. I want it for all of our team members. I want all of our team members to have the freedom to be able to take care of their families and to have a full life away from work. And I have discovered, and I fully believe, that when we have the opportunity to take care of ourselves away from work and have a full life away from work, we will show up and be more present and engaged with our clients and the services that we are delivering. So that's why work supports life, not the other way around, has become one of our immutable laws at Tap the Potential. So as you're defining what an A player looks like, you're defining your immutable laws. The beauty of this is that you can use these immutable laws for every role that you hire for because they're universal. Next, you want to clarify the one result needed from the person in the role that you're hiring for. So this is critical because when we go to hire, oftentimes we decide, you know what, I want somebody who can help with this, and I want somebody who can help with that, and a little bit of that too. So maybe you're thinking, you know what, I need somebody who can do some data entry. I need someone who can answer the phone. And you know what, it would be great if they would do our social media too. So now you're looking for somebody who's going to be kind of spread all over the place and be doing multiple things in the business. The reason we entrepreneurs, I believe, hire in this way is because when we start the business, we're used to doing everything ourselves. And a lot of times I'll hear, well, I just want to hire a mini me, somebody who can go out and do everything I do and take some of it off my plate. That's not a good way to hire. And that's actually going to set us up to mishire over and over. So what I want you to do is get really clear on if the person in this role can only get one thing done in a given day or a given week, what is the one result I need from this person? So instead of deciding you're going to hire someone who's going to do a little bookkeeping and a little social media and a little customer service, figure out if they can only do one of those things, what's the most important result? And it's not an activity that you want them to do. It's the result of the activity. So what is the most important result that we need? And in the How to Hire the Best course, I teach you to even dig deeper than that, where you go into looking at the sweet spot of the business and getting clarity on how does this one result relate to the sweet spot of the business. How does this one result drive profitability in the business? When you're able to answer those questions, you're really starting to create a very clear and specific job description and clear and specific expectations that you will have for the person that you're bringing on your team, which is going to drive your onboarding process after you get them on the team. Once you're clear on the one result you're hiring for, then the next question is, what personality strengths are necessary to deliver this one result exceptionally well, day in and day out? So let me give you an example. Years ago, I had the privilege of coaching a young entrepreneur, and he had developed a food product that he was selling out of a kiosk in a local mall. And his business was taking off. And because he was getting so busy, he needed somebody who could stand in the kiosk and wave down traffic and get people to come by and sample the product while he went into the back to make more of the product. So he thought, I'll hire some of my college buddies. It'll be great. They're wonderful people. They're good students. They seem very dedicated and they love to help. So I'll ask them to help me. And he did. He hired them. He brought them in. And he said, Dr. Sabrina, I don't get it. They show up. I tell them what to do. And they do really well for maybe an hour or two. But then I come back and I find them with their back turned to the foot traffic. And they're like not even interacting anymore. They're on their phones and they're texting and they're on social media. And I said, you know what? I'm really curious about something. Are your friends the type when you go to parties, like they work the room and they interact with everyone and they seem to really enjoy socializing? And he said, no, Dr. Sabrina, actually the opposite is true. They're the ones, I have to drag them out on Friday and Saturday evening. They want to stay home and play video games. I'm the social one. I'm the one who always wants to go out and do things. And I said, okay, I think what's going on is you have hired very good, studious introverts who are loyal to you. They want to do a good job for you. But what's happening is their batteries are getting drained. Introverts thrive and refuel their batteries on spending time alone and in solitary endeavors. Extroverts get energy from interacting socially. And I said, let's just try something different. Look amongst your peers at school and see if you can find some extroverts who are really good students who you might invite to come try doing this for you for a few days and see if it works out. So he did that. He took that approach. He hired some students that looked to him like they were more extroverted. And he came back to our meeting the following week and he said, they're doing so much better. He said, they show up and they interact throughout their shift. And he said, you're exactly right. Their energy seems to go up throughout the day rather than going down. And he said that one simple awareness for his hiring process was going to make a world of difference going forward. So I want you to start thinking about this for the roles that you're hiring for. What's the one result that you need from the person in the role that pertains to the sweet spot of the business and drives profitability? And then ask yourself, what personality strengths are needed to deliver this one result exceptionally well, day in and day out? In the How to Hire the Best course, I go into a lot more detail about how you figure out the personality strengths that are needed. But I just wanted to give you an overview here to get your wheels turning. So step 3 of attracting A players to your team is to become an employer of choice. So once you start identifying what an A player looks like for your team and you start to develop that avatar, your job is to build a company culture that is so attractive to those A players. They can't resist it. Like they're just chomping at the bit, eager to work in your company when there's an opportunity. And that's really the key to having a business that can grow and scale without your daily involvement. It's step 5 in the Tap the Potential solution. It's building that network of A players and continually attracting them so that anytime you have an open role, you have a number of potential candidates that you're going to be reaching out to and inviting to come in and interview for that role. So becoming an employer of choice means doing the internal work on your company culture to be attractive to the A players that you want on your team, and then also doing the external work. So getting the word out there about what your culture is like and what it's like to be a part of your team. It does no good to have a great place to work and be the best kept secret. So you have to do these simultaneously, the internal work to build your culture and the external work where you're getting the word out there. And that external work where you're getting the word out there is where so many fall short. And it will keep you always in this place of, okay, we've got to hire, so we need to go run some ads, post on Indeed. Maybe we're going to bring in a recruiter, and you're constantly scrambling to find applicants. So when you work on becoming an employer of choice, you're totally bypassing that struggle. You're just going to get rid of that struggle because you're going to attract people who want to be in your business, who say to you, please reach out to me when you have an opening. I would love the opportunity to interview. So one of the cool things that happens in the How to Hire the Best course is as you're going through the course, not only are you designing your A player attraction system, but you are also beginning to build the culture of your business and capture your team members sharing why they love working for you. And you start capturing all the good things that are happening on your team. And you learn how to start spreading the word about you being an employer of choice. And through that process, we have in the How to Hire the Best course, we have 5 modules. So it happens over the course of 5 weeks, and you have action steps, move forward action steps from meeting to meeting. They're simple action steps and they build on each other. So that's beautiful because you're creating your system week to week with these simple action steps. But the other thing that's beautiful is when you complete 90% of your move forward action steps, you qualify to be featured in Tap the Potential's Great Place to Work Spotlight. And that's where I invite you on the podcast, or I invite you onto a live, like a Facebook Live with me, and we talk about what you are doing in your business to make it a great place to work. And what's really cool about that is you get the logo that says as featured in Tap the Potential's Great Place to Work Spotlight. You can use that logo in your social media, on your careers page. It gives you credibility as a great place to work. And I believe in doing that because number one, when you complete 90% of those move forward action steps, you've done a lot of work to build the culture of your business to be attractive to A players. Your existing team members love it because they're benefiting along the way, and they really enjoy being a part of that process of creating a great place to work. But the other reason that I do it is because it really is very simple to start putting attention to the culture and the team building on your business. So many business owners don't even know where to start with that. And so I want to show that it's very simple to do that. And when we feature what you're doing in the Great Place to Work Spotlight, you have that opportunity to inspire other business owners with, hey, it's actually very simple to create a great place to work. There are some simple things you can be doing that have a significant impact on making your culture a lot more enjoyable and attractive to A players. The other really cool thing about the How to Hire the Best course is that you can go through the course multiple times after you register. You pay one registration fee, and then you can go through the course multiple times. We also let you have multiple members of your team participate for one registration fee. So this benefits you in a number of ways. The first way it benefits you is, number one, life happens. And you may come into the course gung-ho, but maybe in week 3, there's some sort of crisis that comes up in your business that pulls you away, and you don't complete 90% of your move forward action steps, so you haven't attained that great place to work spotlight yet. Well, you can go back through the course when we offer it, and we offer it every 9 weeks or so. So you can go back through the course the next time we offer it and complete your move forward action steps. So, and you just let us know the point at which you've completed 90% of your move forward action steps. So that's one cool thing. But the other cool thing is, say you go through the course the first time, you learn how to attract an A player, you get an A player on your team, you want that A player to help you recruit the next A players to your team because you're starting to delegate, right? So you're taking some responsibilities off your plate. It's a beautiful thing. So you can invite that A player to go through the course either with you or on their own and pick up with your move forward action steps that you have yet to complete. And then you can complete your move forward action steps in that way and then get featured in our Great Place to Work Spotlight. And again, that Great Place to Work Spotlight gives you a lot of credibility and helps you recruit and become very attractive to those A players that you want on your team. Oh, and if you're featured on the podcast or we do a Facebook Live together, that's also something that you can put on your careers page and put out there in your social media. And again, it gives you more credibility as a potential employer of choice for those A players. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a tip for becoming that employer of choice. So one of the things that you can do is you can ask your best team members that you have currently what they appreciate most about working for you. That's going to give you insight into how they see your business and how they start to see you as different and what you can capitalize on to start to stand out as an employer of choice. The other thing that you can do is to ask them how they would describe a great place to work. So when they describe to you a great place to work, really what they're telling you is their vision of a great place to work. And you can listen for what they're sharing, and you can also ask them, tell me if you were talking to a friend, how you would describe our company culture. Listen to what they say and compare what they say with how they describe a great place to work. If you notice a similarity, like it's almost the same description, kudos to you. Take whatever they're sharing with you and start talking about it. Be public about it. Get it out in your social media, your newsletters, all of your company communication. You need to be making a big deal out of that. But if you notice a gap, and oftentimes there will be a bit of a gap, that's normal. Now you know what to go to work on in your business to become an employer of choice for the A players you want on your team. You can go through this process with your A players multiple times over the next year or two. And I recommend that you do because you're going to be hiring more and more A players and you have more information, more data from those A players on your team about how they see your company culture and how they would describe a great place to work. And you can invite them into helping you create that great place to work. And I even, in the 4-week vacation, I even go into how you take their description of a great place to work and work it into your vision for the company so that the company vision really speaks to and engages the A players on your team. And you get that buy-in where everyone is working together like we're all in this together. We're working toward this wonderful vision. And part of that vision includes being a great place to work and having these kinds of experiences when we go to work every single day. So I'll share a fun example with you from our team at Tap the Potential. A couple of years ago on a Friday afternoon, I was scrolling through Facebook and I noticed Stacy Seguin's post in another group. And Stacy Seguin is our lead strategist. And she had this comment. She said, "Am I the only one having such an awesome week that you're wondering what happened to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week? I had so much fun. I don't know. How did it get to be Friday at 5:30 p.m.? And when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, Our team member, Stacy, is out there in the world saying she's having so much fun at work. The whole week flew by. I was like, wow, that's a really incredible thing. And then I thought, I'm a maximizer. So I got to thinking, what would it be like if almost every day at work could be like that for almost all of our team members? And then I thought, I want to make that part of our vision. So when I wrote my next draft of our vision, I incorporated that in our vision, that work is fun and life-giving, and we regularly end our weeks feeling this way. And then I went to include Stacy's quote there. So you can read the entire vision in the 4-Week Vacation book. And I teach you how to write that clear, compelling, vivid vision that is going to engage your team members. But just imagine if you have a vision statement for what you're working towards, and it includes a powerful experience that's so descriptive of what your team members are experiencing that they can see it and they can feel it. That's what you're looking for. So I want to share one other thought about being a great place to work. Oftentimes, when we hear the words great place to work, we get this idea in our head that everything is perfect and rosy and we're all happy and smiling and sunshine all the time. And that's not actually a great place to work. A great place to work is where people are free to express ideas and opinions, and conflict happens. So just because you have a bad day on your team or there's some conflict or tension, it doesn't take away from being a great place to work. And in fact, it's just the opposite, because a healthy team is like a healthy family where there will be conflict and tension and it gets worked out and the individuals involved learn from it and grow. So that's what you want on your team. You want people excited and motivated, just energized to come to work. And there will be days where there's struggle and tension and conflict, or things are difficult or things go wrong, but you have this feeling that you're in it together and you always know you're going to work it out on the other side and you're going to be better for that tension and conflict that happened. A players don't back down from tension and conflict. And what the defining quality of an A player is someone who is willing to learn and grow with you and with the team. So as you go out there and work on creating a great place to work, don't get discouraged if there's some bad days or things go off the rails. That's normal in small business. That's kind of how things go. What's more important is that you and your team continue to learn, and your A players bring forward their perspective on if something went wrong, what went wrong, so the team as a whole can learn and grow from it. So if you've been listening to this today and you're getting excited about creating that great place to work and becoming an employer of choice to steadily attract the A players you want on your team, I have a mission for you. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become an employer of choice for those A players you want on your team. And if that mission excites you, you should join us in the How to Hire the Best course. Go to tapthepotential.com/course. I'll see you there.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this. If you're loving the Profit by Design podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your business or your life, would you mind doing two things? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and please leave us a review. Our listener reviews help us get into the top 10 of all entrepreneurship podcasts so that more entrepreneurs like you discover us. Your review is critical in helping us make a difference for more entrepreneurs who are ready to take their life back.